Hi, Rachel. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday. Wow, it's December 5th. Isn't that crazy? Are you there, Rachel?
Hello, I'm
Yeah,
here. So sorry, my camera for some reason is not working. And I couldn't figure it out before we went live. So you're just going to hear my voice.
that's all right. Your beautiful voice, and I'll do all the antics for everybody.
Perfect.
So, so how is your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was really, really good. We had a
Yeah.
Friendsgiving. A lot of my
Mhm.
relatives were out of town, so we hung out with friends all day, and it was lovely. Went for a really nice long walk at the very end of the
Oh,
evening. That felt good.
yeah, wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, we had a house full. So, I shared Kenny had a pretty significant accident, but he's on the mend. We had our miracle. Now he's into the healing, and
Yes.
all my kids came home, and they all cooked. They cooked. They cooked, and they cleaned, and they cooked some more. So we actually had 24 people at our
Wow.
house. I know it was a house full, and but we always say the more the merrier. So yeah, it was beautiful, and we were a lot to be grateful for. So a lot to be thankful for. So we had a great time, and the holidays are upon us, Rachel, aren't they?
They are here. Yes, they've
They're here.
we've had a warm up. I feel like kind of Halloween starts us off with some
Mhm.
celebratory type of things, and then certainly Thanksgiving really revs things up. And now we're in the month of December, and all of the holiday events and festivities and difficulties are upon us.
Right. Yeah. Yes. You mentioned that difficulties because not everybody loves
Mhm.
Christmas or,
Right.
these winter holidays, and sometimes they're really hard for people. There's a lot of navigating of special foods and traditions and nostalgia. And, as we're practicing our new healthy habits, our foundations, our pillars, of sleep and nutrition and exercise and stress management. And what are the other ones, Rachel?
Well, we added the nature, getting outside,
Oh,
spending
that's
time
right,
in
getting
nature,
outside.
but
That's
also
a little
community.
more challenging, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
Yes, all of these pillars become really challenging. And I was thinking about, because we're still kind of in our diet mentality versus
Mm.
lifestyle mentality series. We've been on this for a while, and it's great because everything sort of can relate to this
Yeah.
one concept or the other. The diet mentality, of course, we talk about it as this sort of all or nothing, go big or go home. It's black and white, it's yes or no. And it feels restrictive, it feels punitive, it feels easy for a short time, but not sustainable, not maintainable, and certainly not a life giving way of living. Lifestyle mentality, on the other hand, is, well, just the opposite of all those things.
So true. So true. Like, so I can see a couple of different things that might trip us up, if we're on a diet during the holidays. I can't eat this, I can't eat that, and look at
Yeah.
everybody else eating everything and all they want, and feeling just kind of that scarcity mindset.
Mhm.
On the other hand, then sometimes that all or none thinking says, well, it's the holidays, or it's the weekend, or I'm on vacation. And so everything goes out the window. Um, and what I think we're trying to say, or we're trying to figure out how to have our core values and enjoy the holidays. Guess what? Is it possible?
It absolutely is. Yes, that's the beauty of it. We can have a little bit of maybe all of it the word moderation comes to mind. I typically don't use that word. I don't like it because nobody really knows what moderation means.
Different for you than for
Um,
me.
yeah, it's a different word for everyone, and so it's a tough word to use. But the lifestyle mentality is, hey, what if we navigated through the holidays in a way that felt life giving, less stressful, um, enjoyable, full of pleasure, full of family, full of fun, curiosity, entering the holidays with curiosity about our behaviors, our mindsets, our old habits. And then with the goal that at the end of the holidays, January 2nd, we kind of show up for ourselves, not the worst, for the wear, but kind of like not so bad, not so shabby. Maybe took a couple steps off track here or there, but for the most part, held it together in a way that felt like it honored our goals, because ultimately, what is it that you want from the holidays?
Right,
What do you
exactly.
want to get out of it?
Yeah. What's your definition of success during
Yeah.
this season?
And
Right.
I think that that's an excellent place to start, really, each person, because people can be listening to this and thinking that what the definition of success is that you don't eat anything bad, you eat everything good, and you sleep a lot and you never do anything, and that's not true. If you don't know what your definition of success is going into the holidays, I guarantee you won't hit your mark. If you don't know what it is, you won't hit it. So maybe that's step one, really, that we can encourage people is to sit down for a moment and just think, what will I like to say on January 2nd? What is my
Right.
definition of success? What will I be proud of? Um, and what grace and compassion am I willing to give? But also, I'd like to do it differently. I'd like to get through this year better than I did last year.
Yeah. So good. That's so good because, yeah. So I like that because maybe starting into this season, or we're well into it, I guess, but we can look and see where we've grown, you
Mhm.
know, um, and how we've done, what we've accomplished, where we've grown, and how our mindset is now a little bit different than it has been, and then maybe start there and make some define success, the way we want for
Absolutely.
this next month. Yeah.
Yes, and I love the looking back too, because that gives us an opportunity to say, in what ways have I been successful in the past? What have I done previously that I thought, oh, that worked really well? And remind yourself of the skills you already have, of the
Mhm.
times when you've already done successful things and figured some stuff out. You know what works for you. You know what
Mhm.
works well. Look back to your past and go, ooh, I'm gonna redo this one. I'm gonna bring this action back, along with maybe some new strategies and ideas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the things that I wanted to, we have, a lot of the time, I can think of uh, one party that we've signed up for. We might be doing less outings because of, we're healing. So, we may be going to less places, which is okay. So, you know, so what is that going to look like? And are we going to invite people over versus going somewhere? But anyway, one thing maybe, and something that I held on to very tightly in the past in my diet life, and now I'm rethinking and wondering, how it's still serving me, is the idea that I don't show up to a gathering or a party hungry. I
Mhm.
go there having eaten something. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So in my new lifestyle life, I really am trying to eat when I'm hungry and then not eat if I'm full, right? So if I show up to a party where there's food and I'm full and I still eat, that's kind of going against my new found values. And so why am I showing up full so that I don't eat? So anyway, you see how I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting a little curious about that. If I show up, having an appetite and then maybe kind of perusing what's there, and having decided in my mind that I know I need some, where's the protein, where are the vegetables, looking and kind of being a little bit snobby about it,
Mhm.
and really enjoying and savoring, the food that people have prepared,
Mhm.
you know so that's a kind of a mindset shift for me.
So what would you say you're wanting to do? Show up hungry and then choose wisely, or show up more full?
Right. I exactly what and it might depend on the situation, really. It might
Yeah.
depend on where I'm, if I
Mhm.
know it's just a bunch of, desserts, I may want to show up full myself.
Right. Right. Okay. Great point. Great point. The way you show up is going to depend on where are you going and what
Mhm.
are you doing. If you're going to a dinner, well, then that's dinner, right? And maybe you're sitting down and eating a dinner with people. Um, if you're going to a dessert, then that's a very different thing. If
Mhm.
you are going to someone's house or to a place where you know typically there are not options that you're going to feel good about, you might even get sick. You won't be proud of yourself on the inside of it. That's a different approach. However, like I know that when we're gathering together for our Oregon Weight and Wellness Christmas party, I'm
Mhm.
coming hungry because I know what people are bringing. I know that each person is cooking and preparing with the mindset of love, health, organic, as whole and real as possible, with special, attention paid to maybe presentation. Or I know it's going to be that type of food. I'm
Right.
showing up hungry.
Yes. So yeah, good point. So, this hard, fast rule that I had of, show up full to where, whatever, I'm kind of
Mm,
letting go of and rethinking,
mhm.
so and like,
And
okay, it just depends.
that's great because actually that right there is an example of switching from more of the diet mentality, which was an all or nothing. You had a rule,
Hmm.
to more of lifestyle because it really is nuanced. And there can be abundance and joy in knowing you get to go to a function hungry and ready to partake in this beautiful bounty.
Hmm.
It really just does depend on the mindset. But if every time we go having already eaten something and we go full, then there's a bit of a restriction there. I'm full, so I'm not eating anything. And we want to listen to our mind and listen to the chatter and find out, is that creating more food chatter? Is that creating more of an obstacle for me or not? Is it a life-giving strategy?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What other kind of ideas or mindsets do you have, in
Yeah.
this season, in this December?
Yeah. So let's go through a few of those.
Yeah.
And I've got a list here that I'm kind of looking at. There are so many. So I think between now and before, the end of the month, we'll we'll continue this conversation and
Hmm.
keep giving more and more hacks. But um, number one, I think is we talked about choosing what your measure of success is. So that's step one. Maybe step two, we mentioned is looking back to the past and seeing how far have I come, what changes have I made, and also when have I been successful in the past. So what
Hmm.
strategies and tools. And then step three is, okay, now I'm ready to make a plan. And it's just like anything. When you have a plan, you are more likely to succeed at your plan.
Right.
We do this in our work. We do this with our calendars. We do this with the kids. So, what is your plan? How do you want to show up? Um, uh, where so it's almost like a movie, and I talk about this in coaching. Imagine all the past holiday events you've gone to in the past, and kind of think of them as a movie, and you can replay that movie. You remember what it's like to interact with Aunt Hilda. You know what it's like to peruse the food table. You know what it's like with the dessert table, and who are the food pushers, and when do you feel most stressed out, and at what point in the evening do you start to go back and nibble more. Play the
Mm.
movie out and remind yourself what it looks like and feels like. Now, rewind the movie and replay the movie as a new director and a new screenwriter. You have a new script in hand. You are going to, and imagine yourself. It's kind of like imagining the golf swing to improve it. You imagine yourself, okay, now when I approach Aunt Hilda, here's how I want to sound, and here's what I'm going to say or not say. When I go into the kitchen, my hope is that I will behave in this way, and picture yourself doing it. You know, and
Mhm.
and even writing scripts can be so helpful, either imagining it in your mind, writing it in a journal, practicing with a friend or loved one, because there are
Mhm.
some conversations, some relationships where we go in with best intentions. I'm going to say, no, thank you. And then all of a sudden we're eating 4 pieces of pumpkin pie and we're like, what happened? How did that happen? It's happened to me. I know it's happened to me.
Yes. So, right. Yeah, I really appreciate that analogy or the metaphor of the movie or the script,
Mhm.
because you're right. I can role play. I can practice that. I can, and then then I can imagine, okay, so my first no thank you is met with resistance.
Mhm.
And then, so what's my next move,
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how, really imagine what it feels like, play the whole movie out
Hmm.
in success mode. Okay.
Right.
If the old movie was no, not success mode, play this movie all the way out to the very end of the evening. And when you get home and you wake up the next morning, and really imagine
Yeah.
the way that your body feels and your heart and your mind feels
Right.
throughout the entire movie, so that you build value. Man, I'm going to wake up the next morning so proud. I'm going to open my eyes and go, oh my gosh, I did it. Right?
Yeah.
Not 100%. I wasn't maybe perfect. We're not going for that. We're going for, ooh, I feel really good about a couple of key decisions and choices that I made.
Right. That's so good. And in this particular instance, you've kind of been alluding to the food pusher. We all have them, it might be the host at a party. It might be,
Yeah.
that Aunt Hilda. Is that her name? Hilda.
Yeah. Well, Hilda. Yeah.
Yes. So any number of people for you.
Mhm.
And I mean, best case scenario, you are leaving that person feel valued,
Yes.
and you are upholding your values, for what you need and don't need and what's best for
Mhm.
you at the
Mhm.
time. So yeah, that's so good to kind of think about how that could play out.
Mhm.
So, it comes to mind like that it looks so, and not to patronize, to be genuine,
Yeah.
uh, I love pumpkin pie, and I just had another delicious dessert. I love, if it'd be okay, I could take a piece home with me, but I,
Mhm.
I, I don't think I could really enjoy it right now.
Mhm. Yeah, what a beautiful way to say that.
Mhm.
Kind, it's really expressing your needs, without putting them in a position of feeling bad or guilty that they have pumpkin pie, or that why
Mhm.
are you saying no? They're understanding, where
Mhm.
you're coming from, and you're still willing to accept. There are so many great strategies. So, let's we can go through a few more, and certainly next week, but I want to let people know that if you're looking at this on my YouTube channel, there are going to be links, and I've put 4 different links. 3 are articles and 1 is a
Mhm.
YouTube video, and they have excellent strategies for the food pusher, for ways to word it, for a mindset that you can approach. One of the things I love about that we could do. Okay, so take for instance your pumpkin pie scenario. You say that, and you can sense that there might be continued resistance, or, well,
Mhm.
just a bite or something. Um, to not allow the person to have a chance to respond. And so you go right into, but gosh, I love what you did with your living room. Tell me what color this wall is. Where did you find this paint? Right? So you totally distract the
Yeah.
conversation, and you
Yeah.
pull them away to even a new space in the room. Or you say something like, um, hey, tell me about how that thing went last week you were telling me about. And because recognizing that the person, specifically with food pushers, they have a need. They have a
Mm.
need to serve with
Mhm.
food, to love with food,
Mm.
to maybe, sometimes, to be honest, not feel as guilty for the foods that they are eating, and they want
Mhm.
to feel comfortable in a room where everybody eats as much as they do.
Yeah.
That's a whole different psychology. But we want to try to meet their needs. They're coming to you
Mm.
with a need. How can
Mm.
we fulfill them? How can we, make them feel really good about everything else that they've done, and not, you know, put so much pressure on this pumpkin pie?
Right. Yeah. And not feel, I I hesitate to use the word feel manipulated, but you want to say, okay, I get to choose what I'm eating, kind of,
Yes.
not to say that, but I mean that's how, not to feel like,
Mhm,
drug away to do somebody else's will, so right.
mhm,
So change, distraction, changing, but I love the concept, Rachel, of seeing that they have a need. And so you're not like hightailing it over here. You're meeting them, that person, and you're staying present with them, and
mhm,
and changing the subject.
mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Changing the subject is a
Mhm.
really great strategy for,
Yeah.
for difficult conversations of any sort, to kind
Right.
of get your needs met, advocate for yourself in a kind and loving way, and then let's change the subject. Let's
Yeah.
move on to something else.
Right.
um, and responses like, "Oh gosh, no, thank you. I can't imagine another bite," or "I would love to take some home if that would be okay," or "Oh, I was planning on maybe something later,"
Mm.
or "Oh, maybe later," um, there are ways that we can offer insight into what we're doing if you feel comfortable and if you want to, if it's a safe place to kind of say, "Gosh, lately these types of food have been, I don't feel so good. I've been trying
Mm.
to cut back because I'm noticing some intolerance." And intolerance is a great word to use because it infers not an allergy or that you're like, gluten free or celiac or something like that, but that you're noticing your body is not responding kindly to these foods. And I
Mm.
promise you, if you were to tell somebody you had a peanut allergy, they would not force you to eat peanuts. And if
Right.
you are celiac or gluten free, they know what that means. And so if you are able to share a little bit, if it's safe, if it feels comfortable, gosh, my body, I haven't actually been tolerating these foods lately.
Mm.
So I have to really limit. And that puts them, that gives them the opportunity to now care for you. "Oh gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that," or "Oh, never mind." And because they
Mm.
wouldn't want to harm you with something, right? So
Right.
it puts them in, it
Or
gives them,
here's my gluten-free option.
yeah, you don't say specifically what you're intolerant of so that they can't say it's sugar-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, blah blah free. You just say these types of foods have been causing some intolerance. Leave it real broad, real broad.
Okay, that's great. Rachel, okay, so people heard where they can go to your site and look for those resources. There are a lot of them out there. I think I appreciate Michelle May
Yes.
and her resources. Am I Hungry? She's got a
Mhm.
website and a web page that has been helpful for me and a lot of people I talk to. So, yeah, and Rachel, so I appreciate you putting that together. And
Mhm.
I think this deserves some more attention. So I'd like to talk about this more next Thursday.
I'd love it. I love it.
Yeah,
We have so many more ideas that we can throw out there as some great
yeah,
hacks for
yeah.
holidays.
In the meantime, though, tell us what's for dinner.
Yeah, dinner tonight. Oh gosh, I'm so excited. I'm going to send you this recipe actually.
Mm.
Okay, so we have our home group tonight, which is a group of people getting together in someone's living room, and we all bring potluck food. Tonight's theme is like taco bar. So we are bringing, and this is actually one of the hacks on for holidays. Is if you don't know for sure if something will be there that you will want to eat, bring your own plate so that you can eat dinner from it. And Peter and I,
Mhm.
as plant-based eaters, we really lean heavy into plant strong foods. And so we always bring a plant strong option. So ours is going to be
Mhm.
lentil, walnut, rice, cauliflower, quote unquote meat. So it's
Mhm.
like pretends like it's a meat crumble kind of a thing, but it's made of lentils, walnuts, and rice cauliflower. But
Mm.
what I'm most excited about is dessert. I made chocolate brownie sandwich cookies. They're
Ooh,
totally sugar free. I mean, they've got some date syrup
dates. They have
and date.
dates in them, or
Yes, yes, dates and date syrup. There, you have two little cookies and they're sandwiched with a little filling, and the filling is made of peanut butter and date syrup. Oh dear, they're amazing. There's no oil, there's no salt, there's no dairy, there's
wow.
no gluten.
Okay,
Yeah. Um,
you're bringing those on the 15th.
well, I was kind of thinking about that. Yes, I think that might be a
You
really
don't
good
have to bring
idea.
them for the group. Just bring them for me.
Okay, okay, yes, perfect. I'll give you a little side
Just a
container.
little.
Yes.
That sounds delicious. That
Oh, and
sounds
the best part
lovely.
is they're made with black beans. That's
Oh,
the bulk
yeah.
of them, black
I've done
beans.
that before. It's amazing. Avocado, black bean, chickpeas,
Mhm.
they can fill the gap because they have such a neutral flavor.
Right.
Yeah, that they can add protein, fiber, substance,
Mhm.
and then you just put whatever your cacao,
Yeah.
So
It's so
so
surprising.
versatile, so
Mhm.
versatile. And then, yeah, it just adds so much more nutrient density
Mhm.
than flour, white flour. So that sounds lovely. We have been doing bone broth through, the grass-fed bones for
Yeah.
Kenny and his healing. And so we have lots of leftover vegetables, root vegetables, and green beans, and cauliflower, and mushrooms, and onions. So I'm kind of throwing all that in, and we have a delicious vegetable soup.
Ooh, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Carrots. Did I say carrots? Yeah,
Root
all kind of.
vegetable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet potato. Yeah, we're throwing it all in there, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mm.
It's cold out there, so and nothing warms you up than just drinking some kind of brothy vegetable soup.
So true. So true. It's the season is this is one of my favorite eating seasons because I love soups and stews, and it's just so easy to cook like that. So and so you can load so much nutrition in one cup of soup or stew, you know. So
Mhm.
uh Kenny's lucky to have you cooking and making all that yummy stuff for
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the kids did most of it. So yeah, and that's one thing is when you put a vegetable in a stew like that, then you're really not losing any of those nutrients, right?
Right.
Yeah. When you put it raw in a stew,
Mhm.
because if you steam it, anyway, I don't want to get into the weeds here, but if it's cooked mushy gushy gross, and then all of that, and then you pour off all the water from it, some of the nutrients are in the water then. But if you
Absolutely.
just stick it in your stew,
Yeah.
you get it all.
That's right. Win-win.
Yeah. All right. All right. Enough said. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Rachel. Good luck with your IT thing.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope I can figure it out.
You
Take care,
can't.
everybody. We'll see you next week.
I'm behind you. I'm behind you. You can do it.
Thanks.
Okay. All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.